It's the dawn of a new IMSA WeatherTech SportsCar season, and just a few short miles from Daytona Beach is Daytona International Speedway.
The energy down here is absolutely electric for what truly is a global all-star event. The best drivers in the world across 4 classes, and everyone is hunting for the same thing.
Let's light this thing up, guys.
Let's go!
The 2025 IMSA WeatherTech SportsCar Championship. You ready? This is it.
This is the birthplace of American endurance racing.
The long-awaited debut of the Aston Martin Valkyrie LMH begins today here at Sebring.
Whoa! 14 Luxes up the inside, a little push, a little shove. Argy-bargy there. Vanthoor rubbing elbows with Tandy. Tandy sends it, Vanthoor's off the roll.
Popping out the 77, dives on the inside. What a move from Lauren Heinrich. NASA to the inside of Matt Campbell.
The 2025 WeatherTech SportsCar Championship. 4 classes, 11 manufacturers, and the best sports car drivers in the world.
Hi folks, lovely to see you all again, lovely to be here, and lovely to talk about the health and well-being of the IMSA WeatherTech SportsCar Championship. I'm in the midst of the NASCAR playoffs at the moment, so I won't get to be here all weekend, so I'm going to make the most of it and get my IMSA fix today, that's for sure. I was thinking driving here today, I just flew down from New York, and I used to live here, actually on 2 occasions in the Atlanta area, and driving in off the highway off 85, coming here to the track, it struck me that there's this blend of the past and the future. And that is, you see all the development, whether it be the commercial buildings or the real estate developments, but there's still some old farmers who haven't given up their land. And I kind of like that because we get to look back to the past, stuff that we cherish, but we get excited about, the development and the new things and the newness and where things are going. And I think that's quite emblematic and there's parallels with the IMSA WeatherTech SportsCar Championship because, we look forward to this event each and every year, the state of the sport, state of the series. What's the health check? Well, you only have to look across the track. The health is very good and it's flourishing. And while we hang on, with deep emotions to the past because of the rich sports car history in this country, we really surge forward, into the future with the growth of technology, the increased involvement of different OEMs and the partners, and just, we always want to use the word growth, but it's not a lie in this case. It just every year in the IMSA WeatherTech SportsCar Championship, it just gets better. And we've got one guy who leads the team to thank for that. Put your hands together for the president of the series, Mr. John Doonan. Yes, John has props. John's brought props with him today. Congrats on a great year. Great to be with you.
Hi, everybody. They gave me the controller, so we're in trouble.
So let's kick it off with, we're talking about how healthy things are, how exciting things are. We're going to cap it off with Motul Petit Le Mans. But what about the competitive side of this year in the series? What are your thoughts?
Well, when you have a championship of 10, 12 weekends come down to this weekend, the final laps in nearly every class, I think that really tells the story when you break it all down. And I think by the time the green flag flies on Saturday, we'll have already in the books close to 60 hours of racing, and then yet have 10 more to go. So when you stand on the pre-grid and the grid walk with all the fans on Saturday, I think the electricity will be huge, but I think the tension will be huge for all the teams that are trying to, on Sunday night, be handed a Bishop France trophy, and for the drivers, a new Rolex watch for their wrist.
But it's. I mean, we seem to see it year in, year out. The competitive nature of this series. It's great to come here. All 4 classes still up for grabs. I know some are closer than others. The variety of OEMs that win. It's been a really rich year.
Yeah, 18 OEMs competing across all of the platforms. When you look at the Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup, they may not be in multi-class racing, but they're a key partner. But 16 of 17 OEMs who are competing in multi-class racing have stood on the top step of the podium. Every single one of them has been on the podium. So when you have that many winning, I think that's the entertainment that the fans are looking for. And thrilled to be able to put a slate of series up on the screen like this. When you add in things like HSR and the Esports Championship, there's 10 platforms that we sanction. That will continue into 2026 and beyond. Last weekend, the Ford Mustang Challenge was with you up in Charlotte at the Roval. They had their finale. Next weekend, we'll be at Circuit of the Americas in Austin for Porsche Carrera Cup to do their finale. But this weekend, Mazda MX-5 Cup has their finale tomorrow, as does Carrera Cup running for their penultimate race.
We do, when I say we at NBC Sports, we do a blend of at the track and in the NASCAR production studios to cover the series. But whenever we're on site, I'm always blown away by the packed paddocks. How is that? That's a good problem to have, right?
It is. I won't necessarily apologize for it, but I know Rick Humphrey, the president here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, he and his team and our logistics squad have had a real challenge. As of last night, they parked 241 transporters between this paddock on the infield and the Michelin Tower side paddock. And there's, I think, another 39 or so trailers that are off-site. So it's really this element of our sport continues to be in this historic moment. And I know on behalf of all of us at IMSA, we're going to keep taking really good care of it. And as you said at the Open, try to continue to grow it.
By the way, just before we came around onto the stage, John told me that as of about 5 minutes ago, parking is closed in here. No more cars allowed in here. That's right?
Yes, that's right. Thank goodness local church has allowed us to rent their parking lot. And I think we have a deal with one of the landowners locally that you mentioned that we can use to park cars. So, again, a nice problem to have. It will be tricky. So I guess my advice would be just to get here early.
Good thing that some of those farmers held on to their land. Let's talk about at-track partners. We got a little bit of a list to do, and you've got some news to talk about. Let's start with Road America.
Well, the pictures up here really tell the story of how the fans have embraced what we're doing. And I think that's a rising tide lifts all boats opportunity for every one of us, no matter what brand you're representing, what race team you're representing. The fans have come out in big numbers, and you look at those pre-grid walks, it's gotten to a place where it's standing room only on the grid walks. I think one of the things that really gives me energy is the fact that there's a lot of young families. I've seen a few dogs on the grid walk on leashes, of course, but it's really incredible to do a few highlights. We have Connie Nyholm and Kerrigan Smith from VIR. They had the Michelin GT Challenge, I think, hard to believe, like 60 days ago already. It feels like years ago. Road America, you mentioned, thanks to Amber Bates and her team from Motul, will take a 6-hour race. So one of the Michelin Endurance Cup races next year will be at the National Park of Speed in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. That place is packed. Indianapolis had an awesome weekend, also record attendance. That's the thing. Every event so far this year, nearly every event, has had all-time record attendance. So we're seeing this trend at every venue. They also announced that IndianapolisTireRack.com will continue their entitlement. And of course, looking ahead, we'll talk about this place in a moment, but For those who've been going to Sebring for many years, along the Allman Straight, which is that heavy and hard run from turn 16 down to turn 17, we're going to do a walkover bridge, which we're really excited about. I think that helps our teams. I think it helps our fans. And along that whole swath of open land will now be a fan experience for camping and for others. So we're trying in every moment to touch on the details that are going to continue to give good experience.
And golf carts allowed over that bridge, or just strictly pedestrian?
Just 2 feet.
Okay.
Sorry, Lee. You're going to
So
have to
it'll control the chaos.
make the long way around. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about this place, Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta.
It is, I said this morning to a group of high school students, we'll talk about the STEM program this morning, but this is a crown jewel in our portfolio of racetracks in the NASCAR family of tracks. This track, Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta, and Sebring, of course, are under IMSA's tutelage, but you just look around. I came here first when I was 9 years old with my dad. Continues to get better and better and better. You can't see it because of the curtains here, but down at the end of pit lane, there's a Rolex gantry that really is a special addition to the show. Last year here, we announced Rolex as a long-term partner. Of course, we'll talk about Michelin here in a minute, but what a place. And I think driving out there this morning and seeing all the campers, they're in for a real treat.
How about Invesco's involvement?
Yeah, that's a really neat one. They basically have done a turn one takeover. They're a new partner for us, so we're grateful for that, in partnership with United Autosport, who, of course, runs in the LMP2 category. And that's, I think, and again, we're going to touch on this in a minute, but there's companies that are non-endemic to the automotive industry that are seeing this platform, IMSA, as a way to leverage and grow their brand, to entertain and host either current or prospective clients. So I think that, again, is one of those moments where it makes my hair stand up that as a community, as a sport, we've grown to that level to have companies like that take notice.
You mentioned earlier about the attraction to younger fans, and you're seeing that. You're seeing that not only at the races, but you're seeing it through a variety of things. Do you want to grab one of your props?
Sure.
Grab one of your props so we use it, so we don't forget about it. But it's been a great year. I mean, you can see up there on the screens from in Times Square to the F1 movie, to the beginning of the F1 movie, to have the IMSA WeatherTech SportsCar Championships involvement. I mean, you know, it's been quite the spectrum of exposure for the series.
Yeah, I so grateful to our partners at Brembo. That is Times Square. That's not photoshopped, and that is a full-size screen that not only promotes their brand and the quality of their performance products, but it's a tune-in reminder each and every week, and so we're grateful for that. You look at the screen grab on the top: Porsche, Lexus, Ford, Acura, you name it. Their main television brand ads now include IMSA content. You mentioned the F1 movie. If you want to stay in town for Monday Night Football, that Lone Star AMG GTD car is at Mercedes Stadium down the way as part of Mercedes display. So for me, growing up in this sport, and I think there's many in this room that can relate, to have IMSA at that broad audience and frankly, at retail. My staff will tell you there's no more room in my office for toys, but go to any big box store right now and walk down the toy aisle. We are present in a broad audience manner, and whether it's toy cars, whether it's big billboards, whether it's esports and some video game elements, we're there. And now to get that engagement from those fans, that's going to take us to the next level.
And just, I love the story, and it's not just AO racing, but something that PJ Hyatt started out as, you know, something cool and cute for his kids has turned into just a merchandising juggernaut.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw the cars this weekend. I hope they made it crystal clear that Rexy and Spike did not pass. So I don't want to see a bunch of little kids bawling their eyes out like, where are they? So I think they've driven home the Halloween theme, but how cool for what they've done. But there's a Cadillac GTP car, you know, from Hot Wheels. It's really special.
Like any of us, when we can remember when we were kids, what our you know, toy cars were.
Yeah.
So for now, for the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship to be there for these days' kids is phenomenal. You mentioned STEM earlier. We started out the year, for those of you who don't know, it was the second annual tech conference, which we do at the Rolex 24 at Daytona. We do it across the street. Actually, this year we did it at Embry-Riddle. And it's key partners. Obviously, technology is the focal point. It's fascinating. We even had a guy there from NASA this year, and it's the partners, the technology partners, that are fascinated with the platform that IMSA presents to them, where they can utilize their companies and their staff to be pushed to find that next level. Never thought we'd have somebody from NASA at IMSA, but that was really neat.
And to that point, everybody can wait till the Rolex 24 for an official big announcement. We have signed an agreement with NASA. It's called the Space Act Agreement, and they have identified the IMSA laboratory, if you will, or this environment, as a place they want to study thermal properties, lightweight materials, sensors, all the things that we do here on Earth, such that they can learn and maybe get themselves to Mars. So more to come on that, but very excited. And as you know, like the panel was the head of research from Michelin, the head of research from Microsoft, our own technical director, Bosch. So you're right, like they came to that symposium with the idea of showing what's possible here, and we're doing that with high school kids as well.
Yeah, CrowdStrike's been involved, Amazon, it goes on. But let's talk about the STEM program, because it's been very important here.
Yeah, we kicked it off at Daytona. We've done 6 in-market visits. But I think the capstone, and I had the opportunity when I was at Mazda to do a STEM program, and the missing piece was a follow-up, an evergreen digital place for the students to go. So as of today, we've nearly 10,000 students, so I think 9,700, have gone to the website from over 350 schools nationwide. We've done 6 hosting visits at different venues for 180 students. I just spoke to a group from DeKalb College Prep, and these kids are so enamored. And I kept telling them, who likes science lab? And several raised their hand. I said, well, what you're walking into over here is a science lab for all the automakers, for Michelin, for our fuel partners, for Motul. They're using this as a real-time lab. And so I think they're our next generation. We need to use this platform to tell them the stories.
Well, there's plenty of evidence just across the road in the paddock of engineers, young engineers, both male and female, who would have done STEM programs and schooling, where we will get to a point where every single engineer and people in every single team will have done it. All right, you've transitioned already. Esports, give us the latest.
Well, for many years, I dreamed of boy, we really should do something in this space. And when I showed up at IMSA, the team's like, well, we already are. But think about what happened in 2020. It was our only way to go racing was through sim racing. And that's just exploded into an esports championship presented by our partners at Michelin, which, again, when the engines go quiet, they're going to be right back here at Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta in early November. They're going to race at Sebring. But at the time, we're testing at Daytona for the Rolex 24, Long Beach for the GTP cars, VIR for the GT cars, and then they'll end up at Daytona in early December. But anyone that's done iRacing anytime recently, the authenticity of the simulation is incredible. And it goes one step further, and I hadn't seen this until yesterday. This is special. This is for the young ones, and I think we have a little bit of a video to show what this means.
How can they not like it?
Yeah, I think that comes out here in the next 10 days or 2 weeks. But, again, from grid walks to the toy aisle to things like that, I think the future is incredibly bright for all of us to identify the next fan, but also the next participant.
All right, let's keep moving because we've got a lot to get through, and I know you're all on a time crunch. 3 years ago, or this has been season 3, you implemented Win the Weekend. It has been phenomenally successful. Give us an update on that, and does it continue?
Well, you're hearing the name Michelin a lot this morning. Hi, Nora. So glad you came all the way to join us. Thanks to Michelin and Omer, thank you for the work that's been done. We did a research project. Michelin really initiated it with Navigate Research. And we found that there's a group of fans, perhaps, that are automotive enthusiasts, may not know a lot about motorsport, maybe a tad, had no idea how to spell IMSA. And thanks to working with the marketing team, which Omer leads now, we put together a docuseries of our own, snackable episodes, 10 to 15-minute little episodes to give viewers, and it was really targeted. Most of the people in this room were not the target. They were the folks that were on that edge of the market. And we did first season focused on GTP, which was new at that time. We focused on GT. This year, season 3, now averaging about 2.5 million people per episode viewing these docuseries and winning some awards, which we'll talk about in a minute. But 60% of the people coming to the IMSA YouTube page have never been there before to watch these episodes. So once again, it's that opportunity to introduce the sport to people that have no idea.
That's huge. Season 4?
Season 4, we're announcing today that will continue.
Good.
Stand by for the theme, but we're really excited and we're grateful to our partners at Michelin for all their support.
All right, so that takes us to this next slide. And folks, if you can stare at it for as long as you like, there are some really incredible figures that just lead you, it's just underscored so heavily of the growth of this series and the impact, social media, digitally. We spoke about the YouTube. Hey, congrats on the 1 million subscribers, by the way.
We announced that
That's
back
awesome.
at Road America in August and just recently crossed the 3 million threshold total social followers. Since 23, that's up hundreds of percentage points. That's really incredible when you know that you have them. I think the key is look down at the engagements. So they're coming, they're getting involved with the content that we're putting out, and it's really sticking to them. That 1 million puts us second to our teammates at NASCAR in all of North American motorsport when it comes to YouTube followers.
The growth is not just with YouTube, but the growth right across the spectrum has been phenomenal. What's driving that, do you think?
Well, I think
what's resonating with the viewers?
For sure, all the automakers that come to race with us have incredible product. The short form content that we've been collaborating with on so many of the partners, Michelin, Motul, the racetrack promoters, ticket promotions are used, or we're using social to push out ticket promotions over and over. And so I think it's a lot of different tools in the toolbox that are really making the difference. But it's a really special set of numbers right there. And as you know, it's been a whale of a season, and we're really trying to keep the momentum going and taking really good care of it.
The IMSA radio broadcast team, John Hindhoff, Ryan Marine, doing a terrific job, work tirelessly, endlessly, and their enthusiasm never wanes. On my side of the fence for NBC Sports, we're continuing to love our relationship with IMSA on Peacock, on Big NBC, as I call it, network television, and the numbers have been really encouraging.
They have, and you mentioned the IMSA broadcast team with John and Ryan and others that pop in, and Arjuna on the pit lane, who came from sim racing, is now chasing after your job down the road. But a stat was shared with us recently from NBC, and for me, this one takes the cake. So you talk about all the streaming, and everyone's got their phones, and anyone that has a son or daughter who's probably 5 or older sees them watching their content on their handheld device, right? Well, NBC just shared with us that we are up double-digit % on linear television in the 18 to 34 category.
Important demo.
Honestly, that can't be right. It blew my mind that we're in that place, but that tells you that the content, the product, is exciting enough and intriguing enough and full of passion that age group thinks that besides watching on their handheld or their pad, that they want to watch the linear broadcast. And the format of our racing, let's be honest, is difficult. No one's going to sit in front of the TV for 24 hours except our fans. But it's tough to get that to break through.
It was nice to have the two preview shows as well at the beginning of the season, then just last weekend.
Yeah, new, and thanks to NBC for working with us to add those in. But that gave us another educational platform to talk about what IMSA is and multi-class racing and the manufacturers and the different formats of races. So we did that in January, and then last Sunday we had a pre-championship show, which I know you were a part of.
Yeah, that's right. IMSA was on NBC, NASCAR was on USA. It's all right. It's all right, John. It's all right.
Yeah, sorry we preempted you on that one.
Some more important things. Let's talk about the 3D scholarship.
It's been really neat, and for me, this scholarship did not come from myself or our board members, Jim France, Mike Heldon, or Ed Bennett. This came from my teammates in the office. They thought that we ought to put together, thanks to a bunch of our partners, Michelin, of course, VP, our partners at OMP, a package, if you will, to identify a young woman or a young man who's trying to make their break in the sport. And this, I think, will be our 5th recipient. And Jaden Conwright, one of our previous, just got his first win in the Michelin Pilot Challenge race at VIR back in August. But we're so thrilled. And where's Nikki? Nikki Hayes, please stand up with Paul Sparta.
Hey.
Nikki is the 2026 recipient of the IMSA 3D Scholarship. Paul, thank you for hosting. Nikki will race in the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge. Is it fair to say in a BMW? Is that all right? Okay. But Nikki was part of a field of applicants who had to do interviews. We also, as part of this, want to have all of the candidates get an experience. So we did a PR training with Till and Calvin. It's a little questionable.
They might be in the back of the room.
Yeah,
John.
exactly.
Careful.
We did a fitness and nutrition. We did a marketing. So in the end, even those who may not have been selected to receive the scholarship, they got a bit of training that maybe they can leverage for their future. So good luck, Nikki.
Congrats.
Thank you, Paul. Pleased to have you guys with us. So.
Well done. Exciting year ahead. All right, let's talk some more partner news.
Well, of course, we're thrilled to have current 18 OEMs, and you've seen the news. Our friends at Genesis are planning to come join us in the GTP category, so that's thrilling. None of this is possible without this group of OEMs. The fact that they have entrusted us with their product, with their brand, they've decided that this stage of the IMSA WeatherTech SportsCar Championship or Michelin Pilot Challenge or VP Sports Car Challenge is a place that they can tell their story. So, like I said earlier, 16 of 17 the race and multi-class have been on the top step of the podium.
How about BDO?
Yeah.
There's their logo up there.
Yeah, it's going to get bigger here in a second, I believe. We're proud to announce today that our partners at BDO have extended their partnership with us. Charles Henderson and Brad Knight, I believe, are in the room. Thank you guys so much for what you've done to leverage the IMSA platform. And this would be a shining example, much like what CrowdStrike has done, much like what Konica Minolta has done. Once again, sort of non-endemic to automotive or the tire category or oil or fuel. They've decided that this high-tech environment that's highly pressurized, that's time certain, that they can come here, engage with current clients, engage with prospective clients, tell their story, talk about what services they provide in the financial advisory, budget advisory, auditing, in the case of Konica Minolta, of course, technology and solutions, CrowdStrike, cybersecurity. So again, this is really unique that these brands have decided that this space is where they want to do that.
Yeah. Just go back one slide and put the spotlight on some more partners.
Yeah.
Hey, I challenge you to go backwards, right? You hadn't done that. This is a brand new clicker for
that's
John.
That's true. 20, north of 20 full-time corporate partners have decided to be with us. And I'll go back one more yet, now that I've got the hang of it. There's so many representatives from automakers in this room. We are so grateful for your participation. Many of them have given us the crown jewel, if you will, from their brand, Ferrari, I think Matt Duesenberry's here. Mazda with MX-5 Cup. Ford, Mark Rushbrook and Scott Bartlett and the team. We have those single makes as what I call the prized possession of their brand that we're able to facilitate those championships.
I think it's just amazing, and it starts right at the Rolex 24 when you're on the infield, all the way to now, to Motul Petit Le Mans, the level of activation from all of these partners. You're driving that, but they're driving that as well. It's spectacular.
Yeah, I took a risk one day in my previous life in the boardroom and said, here's the operational programs for the year. Here's the IMSA program. Here's Mazda MX-5 Cup. In those days with Dan Anderson back there, it was the Mazda Road to Indy. But I said, we shouldn't approve the operational side unless we're going to spend 1.5 or 2x that to tell the story. So you go up to the fan zone and you see 9 automakers with displays. You see Michelin engaging with the fans and telling them why they're here and maybe taking that next step to introduce their brand to them such that it turns into retail and those types of things. And WeatherTech was up there, and no doubt what the McNeil family has done for this sport across many platforms, especially the WeatherTech SportsCar Championship, is really remarkable.
So we've got the Pilot Sport Endurance for 2026 up here, and if you haven't had a close look at this after we're finished, I'd encourage you to. And with that being said, please join us in welcoming the President and CEO of Michelin North America, Mr. Matthew Cabe. Matthew, come on up. Thanks for letting us sit in the Michelin Tower. And John's got more show and tell here for you as well, by the way.
I like it.
What's this prop, boss?
Well, this hat I've had since I was 7 years old, and I thought that it was very apropos to bring it here based on what we're going to share today. But I told you backstage, my dad told me, son, when you buy tires, they need to be Michelin's, and if I came home with anything else, he said, I hope you save the receipt. But this means a lot to me, and our friendship and the friendship with your whole brand means a tremendous amount to us.
We appreciate that so much. And this is when the Michelin Man still had a little heft to him.
Not on a diet, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing.
Yeah, it still fits.
It's a collector.
Ed Bennett. Well, it's on the very last, and it's got the fancy mesh and the plastic holder in the back. But Ed Bennett accused me of being a pack rat. I'd like to think, and Rebecca said, no, you're an archivist. You keep those things.
So John's been talking about Michelin's involvement. From Michelin's side of the fence, tell us why you are involved so heavily with the IMSA WeatherTech SportsCar Championship.
First of all, the partnership, and we talk about the partnership, it doesn't get better. This group of folks at IMSA are the epitome of a partner. They're in with us every single day, making sure that we're getting better and looking really to make sure that we're winning together and we're getting better every year. And, Michelin has been, when it comes to this kind of racing, Michelin has been doing racing for like 135 years. It's like 100 years before the hat. And we started with bicycle racing to be able to go out and prove what is it that we can do? What advantage can we bring? What innovation can we bring? How is it that we can do something different than everybody else? And we've continued that through the years of continuing to innovate. And what we do here in the most challenging situation with you talk about all the OEMs and the fact that we can test on so many different platforms at one time in this most challenging endurance environment. It's hard to find that kind of test bed. You talk about the lab. This is the lab. This is where we learn, and this is where we get better. And true story, the engineers that you see here out of the track, they go back to the office on Monday morning and they sit down and they start coming up with the next generation of product that we put on our vehicle every day. And what we learn here goes straight back to the office and we put it in what we make. So really, this is the perfect place for us.
Yeah, when it comes to innovation, performance, sustainability, which we're going to talk about here in a minute, those are all their middle names when it comes to the Michelin brand. And like I say, partnership's one thing, but when you work with the folks at Michelin, #1 tire brand in the world, you honestly feel like you're working with a bunch of your friends. So grateful, so grateful for the partnership that we have today and where we're headed.
Let's talk more.
I'm so pleased to announce, and Matthew can tag on here, but we're announcing today that our partnership with Michelin is going into the very far future, another 10 years as our partners, official tire. So special. It's incredible. Yeah, official tire of IMSA, of course, the WeatherTech SportsCar Championship, Michelin Pilot Challenge, VP Racing Sports Car Challenge. We're kicking off an IMSA Sustainability Award that'll be presented on the podium for GTP going forward, starting at the Rolex. And, of course, Michelin Raceway, Road Atlanta, will stay that way for until 2035.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. It is humbling for us. It is humbling for us to be part of such a series and to be partners with you year in, year out. 10 years is it feels like a long time, but it'll be just the beginning, right? We will be something much, much bigger in 10 years. I'm certain of that. The way that this is growing together, and we are so appreciative that you put the confidence and the faith in us that we can deliver every week. And to the team, very special thank you for what they do week in, week out, and continuing to deliver.
John, you mentioned the Michelin Sustainability Award. You've got an award under your elbow there that you want to present to Matthew. So
I do. This is a bit of a surprise. Matthew and Nora and Omer and Raymond, who leads the technical team. We talked about Win the Weekend a few minutes ago. Well, for the second year in a row, but this is your first one in the chair. We're pleased to present you with the Telly Award for Outstanding Performance of Win the Weekend as a docuseries. Incredibly special for us to be able to hand this over to you, to put in the trophy case up in Greenville, and maybe have it be a memory of the way that collectively we're bringing new fans and new customers to the marketplace.
Wow, thank you so much.
It's really good.
I think you said it all earlier, but the innovation that the team is bringing to the marketing space to be able to bring new people into something that we care about so much is remarkable. So thank you so much for sharing this with us. Great job, guys.
It's good.
fantastic. So that brings us to look to the future and the near future, John. Let's talk 2026.
Yeah, don't go anywhere. I think it's fitting that you're up here. We are also pleased to announce today the full season entrance for the WeatherTech SportsCar Championship for 2026. And when you look at it over the course of the entire grid, all four classes, it's going to be maxed capacity again next year. And also what you're going to see, and this is right at the heart of what Bill France Sr. and John and Peggy Bishop were trying to do, that is to bring the best drivers, the best manufacturers, the best tire partners, oil partners, fuel partners, and the best race cars to compete. And that's what we're going to have next year. You're going to see a lot of familiar names, but you're going to see also some of the best sports car racing teams in the world that have decided that they want to be part of this championship. And you always talk to the drivers about how they love racing in IMSA, and now the teams have said, yep, we're coming along.
How about a little further down the road with GTP LMP2? Can you give us any
insight
into that?
Had an opportunity to be in France, hard to believe, a month ago with my teammates Simon, Matt, and Bill from the technical side with 13 OEMs in the room. I joked that a few years ago we could have got a table for 4 in the restaurant, but now we had a full boardroom at a hotel talking about the future. Left there very excited and confident that convergence will continue with the hope of one set of regulations down the road, perhaps in the 2030 timeframe. A lot to be decided. So we'll have a lot of technical meetings about what details of that, but that's huge. And of course, back in June, Pierre Fillon, our counterpart at the ACO, announced the new LMP2 car is planned for 2028.
Future looks bright.
I'd like to know, Matthew, you have kids at home, what cars are their favorite? Because we're about to go through this entry list.
So I mentioned you earlier. I've got a son who's about to be 15. So cars are the topic of the day. We keep going around, and he's bouncing around. So right now, I mentioned this earlier. He's like, I want an old C6.
Yeah, old.
Old, right? So, but the other day he was looking at a Mazda and he was like, that looks really cool. I can do a lot with that. So right now we're having a lot of conversations. So it's great to be able to see all of them together.
Just so time doesn't beat us, let's look at that entry list.
100%. So let's start with GTP. Very excited. The announcement a few days ago that Porsche Penske Motorsport will be back with us. Cadillac, a three-pronged effort, Aston Martin, and a new team operator on the BMW M hybrid with WRT, an outstanding race team from Europe, will be coming here to race with us. Of course, Meyer Shank will be back with the Acura brand, and love the independent team as well, because that's really at the heart of what IMSA is all about. With John Church and JDC will be back with us again for a full season.
Keep it rolling.
Keep it rolling. LMP2, very exciting. Some new faces there. Brian Herta Autosport, known for their championships and Michelin Pilot Challenge with Hyundai, will be back now in an LMP2 program. Tonise Casamets, once again, an independent team making their breakthrough. United Autosport, CrowdStrike, a lot of familiar faces. Intersport Racing is John Field. Remember?
Yeah, he's back.
He's back.
At the age of 70, with still as much energy.
Exactly. GTD Pro, really, really excited about the efforts from Ford, of course, Corvette, those pillars, Paul Miller, Triarci making the step up into GTD Pro with the Ferrari 296. Very excited about Manti Racing. They're going to join us. You know that name from around the world in GTD Pro. So, again, the best of the best across that GTD Pro category. And finally, our GTD category. Once again, some familiar names. Vassar Sullivan will ride the fence between both GTD Pro and GTD entries, but some new faces. Bill Riley announced yesterday a Ford Mustang program. Triarci, the Aston Martins of Heart of Racing are back. DXDT Racing and a Corvette, another independent team. Just really excited about where we're headed with full entries once again for 2026 and the WeatherTech SportsCar Championship.
So as we started, growth, positivity, excitement. The future of the IMSA WeatherTech SportsCar Championship is certainly bright. Please congratulate John, thank Matthew, and we wish you a great weekend here at Motul Petit Le Mans. Thanks, everybody.